Good morning, everybody. We have a special guest today, Congressman Sherman from the 27th Congressional District. I have worked with Congressman Sherman. I campaigned for him back in '96, and he's very well regarded and a very respected congressman. And he's come to speak to us today and share with us his thoughts. So if we can please give him a welcome.
Hello, I'm Brad Sherman from America's best named city, Sherman Oaks. It's an honor to be here. Father, thank you for inviting me. For the last 15 years, I've represented the West San Fernando Valley in the United States Congress, where I serve on the Foreign Affairs Committee, as well as other committees. With me here today is John Alford, and Laura Shabir-Maxey, who work every day in our constituent service office, right there on Van Nuys Boulevard. Now, let me describe a little bit how that office works. Imagine a federal government agency makes a mistake. It could be Social Security. It could be one of our embassies not issuing a visa to someone they should issue a visa to. It could be the IRS. You call John or you call Laura. They work very hard. They solve your problem, and then I take the credit. It's a good system. Now, one of Laura's many talents is that she speaks Arabic, and I'm told that some people here are more comfortable in Arabic, and I'm going to ask Laura to say a few words about our constituent service program.
Good morning. How's everybody? كان بس بدي أقول لكم إنه نحن بالشيرمان أوكس إذا بدكم مساعدة مع الفيدرال جوفرمنت، إذا عندكم حدا مثلا بمصر يما هون immigration وأشياء هيك، فيكم تلفنوا لنا. النميرو تبعنا حورا وفينا أعطيكم الكارد تبعي. So إذا بدكم تحكوا معي بعدين فيكم تحكوا معي ورا. Okay? Thank you.
And Father, I hope you would bring to my personal attention any matter that is of great concern to you or the congregation here. Spoke to a few people who said, you know, Brad, do you plan to spend a full hour and a half answering our questions about what's going on in Washington? And they were so disappointed that I wasn't going to speak for a full hour and a half, and I want to address that disappointment. Come join me on May 15th at Cal State Northridge. They've got the new Performing Arts Center building. Many people are coming just to see the building. Join me at 3 p.m. and we will spend an hour and a half talking about whatever is on people's minds here in the San Fernando Valley. I would like to address the treatment of religious minorities in the Middle East. Just a couple weeks ago, I joined with a few members of Congress in sending a letter to Field Marshal Tantawi, insisting on behalf of the United States Congress that we protect the Coptic community in Egypt and that the perpetrators of the recent attacks be brought to justice by the traditional government. I have also co-sponsored House Resolution 440, which would create within the State Department a special envoy whose full-time job would be to focus on religious minorities in the Middle East and to focus the State Department's attention on that issue. It goes without saying that the recent acts of violence in several parts of Egypt are unacceptable. I, of course, oppose the Egyptian adoption of Sharia law when that law basically discriminates against a large portion of Egyptian citizens. Now, I'd like to keep my remarks brief, and so I just have one conclusion, unless you'd like me to do anything else.
If the extremists got to the top of the government, the Coptic, which is our family, will suffer. Did our government here has anything to do with that? Are we supporting any issue, or we have any positive process to? And this is, if this happened in Egypt, it will happen in all North Africa, that it will be controlled by extremists.
You're very right to be concerned. There are, in effect, two kinds of revolutions. Those are that are secessions, where one territory breaks off, like the United States broke off from Britain. But traditionally, a revolution is a country stays together, but things are flipped over. And what has happened in so many revolutions in the world, whether it be 1917 in Russia, whether it be the 1970s in Iran, whether it be the French Revolution, is that the first revolutionaries, those who overthrow the dictator, tend to be Democrats who, I mean that not Democrat, Republican, but people who believe in democracy and freedom, just as the gentleman named Kerensky ran Russia right after the Tsar. But then a second revolution, or a different stage in the revolution, takes place. And those who are tougher, more willing, better organized, more extreme, Lenin, if you will, take over the revolution at a later stage. And we have to be concerned about this in Egypt, in Tunisia. Libya is even harder to figure out. The United States needs to be a voice not just for those who were in the streets of Cairo before, but those who want to establish democracy, freedom, and constitutional rights for all Egyptians in the future. As to what the United States can do, I think we have some influence with Egypt in general. We have substantial influence with the Egyptian military. Wouldn't be perfect, but it is possible that what emerges in Egypt is not too different from Turkey, or at least some way parallel to Turkey, and that is that the army would play some role in assuring that key elements of the nature of the nation are preserved. I don't know if the Egyptian military will play any political role in the future. I do know that that military is dependent in significant part on U.S. aid. And we made it very clear in the height of the tumult that that army would not be getting aid from us in the future if it shot people in the streets. Now I think we need to make it clear that U.S. aid to Egypt is dependent upon not just people getting killed in the streets, but how Egypt treats its own people in the future. But I wouldn't overestimate the influence of the United States. We have some. And if you look at Libya, you see the United States at its most powerful, doing what it is most powerful in doing. Hitting airplanes from the air, hitting tanks from the air. But you also see the limitations of the United States, dealing with things on the ground. And we are not popular with all segments of Arab society. So